Okay, it is day 15 of my fast. And man, it's been a rough. I'm still going on my hike. And the hike felt fairly good today, but my mind has been so fuzzy. So I think that's all the report on the fasting. So what I want to talk about today is, I'm giving a talk next week, actually a week from now, on smart meters, but I want to expand that to talk about electromagnetic radiation in general. So let me share with you a little bit of what I want to talk about, because most of us don't understand the electromagnetic spectrum. And the electromagnetic spectrum goes from what they call ELF, extremely low frequencies, radio waves, if you will, which can be way, way down to, 2, 3, 4, 5 hertz or cycles per second, and then extends all the way up to extremely high frequencies. The highest frequency is around cosmic rays. Then below that are gamma rays, below that are X-rays. And then you start getting into the ultraviolet spectrum. And so everything from ultraviolet all the way up to cosmic rays is what's considered ionizing radiation. And ionizing radiation is recognized as being bad for your biology, because what it does is it ionizes atoms. I mean, it's kind of like the nuclear bomb, where a neutron goes and splits a nucleus, and then that goes on to split a couple of other nucleuses, and there's a chain reaction. But what happens with ionizing radiation is that it can damage your cells, because it will actually ionize your atoms in your body. And so therefore it's well known, and of course it's been seen and proven to be detrimental to people's health. And they've even limited the amount of time, they've studied it, they limit the amount of time that you can be exposed to that. In fact, they say that X-rays can be damaging, and so you don't want to have a lot of X-rays done. And so that's ionizing radiation. Now below that is non-ionizing radiation. So that would be visible light, infrared, and then we go down into microwaves and radio waves. Now, most people, there hasn't been a lot of studies done. I mean, I found some literature and found some studies that have been done, but we are basically living in an experiment. The advent of microwave ovens was kind of the first thing that came out. Of course, there's the radio stations and all of that, and TV, but we don't really live near those stations. And so the way that radiation works is it drops off by the square. So if you're like 10 feet away, and then you move, let's say the radiation is X, and then you move 10 feet away, then it would be less by the square, so it would be like 1/100th of the radiation. And then if you go 1,000 feet away, then it would be like 10,000 times. So it's or 100,000 actually. So it drops off very quickly. And so if you don't live around, say, power lines or broadcast stations, then you're probably going to be fine. However, like I said, with the advent of microwaves, and then we got cell phones, and then we got Wi-Fi, and now they're planning on coming out with smart meters. And so everything's going wireless, which is bad news because we really don't know. I mean, there have been a few longitudinal studies, but it's only been about 30 some years, maybe 40, where we have been bathed in this non-ionizing radiation, this kind of electrosmog, if you will. So this is what I'm going to be sharing next Wednesday with a group of people. I'm going to have 2 hours to talk about some of the studies that have been done and why smart meters are not a good thing to have around your home, because they emit a pretty strong field, high intensity. And so anytime that you're talking about radiation, there are two factors that are important. One is intensity, and the other is duration. And one of the things about the smart meters is that they are fairly intense. And I mean, people have actually felt sick when they're next to a smart meter. But in addition to that, they pulse, which is why they're intense, but they could pulse up to 190,000 times a day. So therefore, that gives you an idea. I mean, then on top of that, you've got the cell phones and Wi-Fi and your computer, which also puts out a signal, your TV. I mean, all these things are becoming more and more wireless, and we really don't know what the long-term effects are. But there have been some studies done that show that they're not good for you. So I think I'm going to end it here. I just wanted to kind of practice my talk, if you will, and let you know that there are some dangers. In fact, I'm planning on creating a Facebook group called Health and Safety, which is about your health and also your safety. And when I say safety, because health is, mainly physical, but safety also refers to your financial health, your all the toxins and everything. So if you can protect yourself from a lot of the toxic environment that we live in. Okay, so thank you for listening, and I'll end it for now.